Okay, we're back. My name is Harry Tambuatco. With us, we have attorney Tony Abad. He's actually not just attorney at law, rule of law. He's actually more of an economist as well, and an economic analyst of worldviews, integration in the ASEAN, and basically movement towards the future. Attorney Abad, very quickly, let's get this out of the way. Na itong anti-dumping law, you were part of this, you were a consultant when you were putting this together. Paano nakalusot yung garbage ng Canada napunta dito na, in fact, they were diverted into another port, into another area. Dapat yung iniwan na lang dyan, di ba? At binalik, parang ganon.
Okay. Well, first of all, yung anti-dumping. The dumping that we talk about in the Anti-Dumping Act is price dumping.
Okay, baliktad.
So it's like predatory pricing. It's when you drop your price.
China. Anti-dumping ginawa ng China when they reduced their currency 2 weeks ago. Is that, can we say that?
Well, the principle is there's a normal value for a product, usually ex-factory.
Okay.
And if your export price is lower than the normal value, it's supposed to be considered as dumping. Now, if you're...
Is that a marketing strategy to move your products?
Well,
when you drop price?
It's a form of
like a sale?
Yeah, it's a form of unfair trade. Now, in antitrust, that is what you call predatory pricing. You actually go below production cost so that you ease out. What you do is you drop your price.
You ease out inventory.
You ease out your competition, actually. Your competitor...
kill the competition.
Yes, because they cannot keep up with your low price.
They have to close shop.
But you have the surplus to keep it going.
I wonder if that's what they're doing to Russia with the oil. They can't produce for less than $70, $80 a barrel. We're already down to 35 and going low. Predicted to go down to 20.
But I don't think they want it to happen. I mean, all of these oil producers, I think, probably are in a...
They're all suffering.
In a quandary about...
But isn't this what America did to the USSR when they broke it up? They just brought it down, the economy, and they were forced to disintegrate?
We don't know.
But going back to the anti-dumping, since I misread it as anti-dumping, your quick viewpoint on that, on that garbage that came in.
On the garbage, that would be trade facilitation and...
Policy yun, dapat anti yun, di ba?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, there should be...
Illegal import yun,
strong regulations on things that harm our public health and safety. Because it's the same thing. You go to Canada or you go to Australia.
You can't export garbage to them.
And you see how strict they are about bringing in fruit or...
they are.
Or food.
Nagdadala ka ng bagoong, I'm sorry, you got to throw that, diba, sa garbage.
Because it's a protection of public safety and health. So, well, this one's apparently an illicit shipment. So, that also means that, in the course of...
Illegal shipment.
In the course of integration, we really have to have more vigilance. There has to be more investment in the monitoring of the seas, of the air,
But the implementation of certain measures, policy, to equalize the playing field is probably going to be the biggest problem we're going to have as humans. The Filipino can be moved. Our culture, diba? Parang ganun. I mean, we say that the culture of corruption is so embedded, it goes all the way down now. It's true.
Yes.
Tayo, I give you a business. If I did this in Singapore, I pass you information. Hindi yung Pilipino, bibigyan tayo information. Nakanegosyo ka with the party number 3, pare, may 5% ako dyan. Di ba, ginagano natin success fee. Pero sa kanila, walang ganon Ang Amerikano, walang ganon. Aliman, walang ganon. Tayo ba't ganon? It's part of our culture, di ba? Success fee. Let's not call it grease money. Parang ganon. Culture again. But isn't that culture going to be the very problem with the rest of the 9 countries, assuming the integration comes on? They have the same problem in Indonesia, mind you. They have the same problem in Laos, Cambodia, and probably even Vietnam. But for the more developed, I doubt it'll be difficult for Singapore.
Kasi left to each member state in ASEAN, left on its own, will have its own population suffering that particular, whatever
that culture is,
whatever that culture or
the lack of
bad behavior is.
Bad behavior. Okay, bad behavior.
Now, what you're doing is by putting everyone together and integrating them, you're hoping that you raise your standard to the highest common denominator, which would be Singapore. I mean, it's not...
Don't bring Singapore down. We go up to Singapore.
I don't think Singapore will agree to go down. Singaporeans are already used to that way of life. And financially and economically, they have the power to, the clout, to
They have
say,
the clout, yes.
let's
We will
bring it
stay
all
here.
up. Now, why don't we bring ourselves up to the Singapore standard? Well, it's because of politics. But politics kasi that's been shielded from any scrutiny from the outside world.
Internal lang eh.
It's internal, and we, ordinary citizens, Harry and Tony, are made to suffer the system, you know. Now, whether it is monopolies or cartel behavior in the business side, or the diversion of all our tax money into pork barrel on the government side, we cannot do anything about it because...
We suffer the consequence of the tyranny of the masses. Well, that's what I call it, but okay.
But the masses are actually the... I mean, we're victims and milking cows without having any power to do anything about it. And when you integrate, what happens is, well...
You bring everybody up.
Oh, suddenly you have a bigger you have a higher standard. And that means that even the way we have our public transport has to be more dignified already.
Improve.
It has to improve. We have to level up. So to
seeing this, analyzing integration as a consequence, or whether we like, if it won't happen now, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will happen, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Even if the industry stayed with barriers everywhere.
Yes.
Now, seeing this theory, this reality, what kind of leaders do we need going into that 22nd century? Or better yet, not even that far, way too far, I apologize. 2016, leaders. Do we require the competence or yung kapal ng puso, mahal ko kayo, or kompetensya? We know that Noynoy, President Pinoy, was never an academic. He's never really excelled in school or in any, he's never had the discipline of any professional study. Many of the contenders today, I'm sorry, in the presidentials, other than Mayor Binay or the Vice President, who is at least a lawyer, at the very least, wala sa kanilang professional eh. Grace is not. I don't know, she's a mother. She's right. I don't know if she's a natural-born citizen. I doubt. American, I know she is. Who else? All of them, even Mar Rojas. Well, he says he's graduate of Wharton. But I've never really heard of him doing any tariffs or financial policy and whatnot. Anong klaseng leader kailangan natin? Pag yan ang tutugmain natin, gusto natin, kailangan natin. Okay. Economic independence, integrity, and integration.
I think for a manager, that's when you sometimes need a lot of these technical skills and background. Leader doesn't necessarily have to be an academician or even a highly skilled technician. No? A leader is basically a person who is going to shepherd the change. You're trying to bring your community from one status quo to a new status quo.
Competence? No, not necessarily.
Well,
not specific competence on specific fields.
You have to have a certain level of self-discipline to be able to manage that change process.
So a clear understanding first of the holistic direction.
You have to start, you have to have a vision, you have to see
where you're going.
That's what the leader does. The leader sees
may vision.
He sees a reality that isn't there yet.
May direction.
May direction, may you have imagination.
Hindi kailangan economist ka, abogado, academician, inhinero, doktor. Hindi kailangan.
I think there shouldn't be a rule on that.
Okay.
I think
vision, the ability to put people together, to work together.
And probably the passion to carry out.
So tama si Grace po, puso.
Puso? Well, you mean heart?
Yeah, heart. I mean, no, but love and a big heart. You know, because they say, manhid si Noynoy. Ito naman puso, sinasabi niya, kaya naiiba.
But you also have to have some, I mean, you have to have...
May kapasidad naman yung mental May mental capacity naman dapat.
I think you at least have to have a proper understanding of the way the world works. And then you have to prioritize the welfare of the entire community. You have to look at the whole community as everyone being part of an integral system.
how would you measure a president? If you're asked today, forget the names who are running, what kind of president should we have? A guy, vision, number one. Identify vision then.
Yeah.
Don't talk about vision, but identify vision. Yan.
Where do you see the Philippines?
Identify yan.
In the community of, of the
other country of the world.
Yeah. How do you position it? And position it in a way that each 100 of million
will benefit
from that system. And that means you have to do very pragmatic and maybe painful reform measures.
I imagine, aawayin ka ng bumbayan yan eh.
I mean, first of all, and this is my own personal, you have to open up the Constitution for review, and you have to revise it and reform it and amend it to turn us into a organic state that is ready for integration. That Constitution is not a Constitution that will help the ordinary citizen thrive in an integrated market. Okay, so
that's well put. That's well put.
And I'm not talking, I have no political agenda here. We keep putting in a political agenda and then shooting down the idea of constitutional reform. But for me, that is probably the most important thing a president or prime minister should do for this country. Then the second is to simplify and make everything easiest for the least of the units. And then build up your units, build up your communities so that you have resilience.
So it's
grassroots. Your taxation also has to be based that way.
Magulong taxation natin. We're also way overtaxed.
We're way overtaxed. We have the highest taxation in the region. And it's rather short-sighted to see only that level as leading to a certain level of revenue. You see that there are enough empirical studies to show that those countries with lower tax rates
are
actually collecting
going
more.
Up, yeah, collecting more.
Why?
Well, VAT alone.
Yeah, because the simplicity actually allows for more to. Plus, the investment comes in. You become a magnet for investment.
Here we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. You look, who's got the lowest tax? Let's go there.
Yeah.
Who's got the highest tax? We're not going to invest there.
But it's also energy. Energy then manpower, kind of manpower.
When you talk about energy like power?
Yeah, power.
Yeah, the cost of inputs to doing business.
It's very high here.
That's why you have to have competition. That's the other thing.
Bababa yun.
You have to, as the leader, you have to make sure that everyone's competing. No sacred cows, no buddies, no classmates, no monopolies.
No monopolies.
Everyone competes with each other. We're not going to single anyone out either or make it difficult for anyone. We just allow your antitrust and competition laws to apply and make sure everyone's sort of...
So basically, the full economic theory, if applied, will work and should work.
Yes, as long as the government is making sure. Now, at the moment the government starts siding or taking care of somebody, that's when everything starts going haywire. And that's what's happened to our country, basically.
Thank you very much, Attorney Abad. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to end the show. A very brief, short advice to our viewers.
Keep your minds open. The future is uncertain, but the more flexible and resilient we are and we become as a people, and as long as we work together, I think that's basically it. When you say open mind, I mean let's adopt truly globally competitive solutions to this whole problem that we face. Integration will happen whether you like it or not. It's either we sit down, cry and die, or we get together, we work together, we do those painful reforms, and we get prepared for integration.
Thank you very much, Attorney Abad. I'd like to just add on that. I'm sick and tired of the discipline of patience, the ability to have to wait another 10, 20, 30 years before we can get our act together. I dare we do it now, as Tony Abad has placed it.
To have a sense of urgency.
Yes, sense of urgency. No more waiting. Yes. Let's do it now.
Yes.
Maraming salamat po. I hope you've enjoyed our program. Will be replayed again in the morning at 8, and I think we have another replay sometime in the afternoon tomorrow as well. Maraming salamat po. My name is Harry Tambuadco. Salamat po, attorney.
Thank you, Harry.
You are what you watch.